Ganun di ama madutakan siya natay. Cause there's no limit for living back. No heaven living in a heart of freedom. Every number sing along.
Over on the gun. Ha! Hola! Oh, I believe. Wins! Ah!